Yeah, I remember going to Versailles and seeing those gardens and how they're so manicured and shaped,
Yeah,
and it's kind of like the human will
yeah.
making something happen, like you were talking about in organic farming. You're not making something happen, but we're making something happen by making it be pear-shaped or square-shaped or whatever, and that's how humanity has done a lot of its, quote, "gardening" in history, and that's like a willful thing, and it sounds like the organic gardening is more of a willingness, of a working with the land and with the plants and with the weeds and listening to what they're all wanting and
Well,
saying.
very much so, and trying to give everything space. So one of my favorite parts of the certification system for organic farm is what they call wild margins. What that means is that you have to leave some of the edge of your fields as wild, so you allow the weeds to grow, and that's where butterflies and insects can be as well. And one of the benefits of that for us as humans is that when you do get a new pest or disease in the crop you're growing, you hope that the antidote comes from wild margins. And in the book, I think community is becoming very, very important for humans, and I've got a whole chapter about what we can learn from ecosystems about community. And one thing is, I think this idea of wild margins is really important for human communities. But what I notice is that most of the human communities tend to sort of become a bit homogeneous.
Mhm.
It's difficult to tolerate too much difference and diversity. So what I'm saying in the book is really try and tolerate the wild margins in your communities, which means the people who are cranky or mavericks who have a different view and disagree with you. Because, when you hit a new problem and you don't know what the answer is, it's very likely that it's the cranky maverick people who will come out with a different perspective and help you.
Oh, that is I love that, especially in today's world where we're getting more and more, we're getting into these little groups that reflect the exact same opinion or view or political
Yeah.
stance or whatever that we have. And it's these little silos are everywhere. And
Yeah,
and you look
absolutely.
out in the wild and there's this amazing biodiversity and all of these different species growing and tolerating each other and benefiting each other. And it's almost like we're is it like monocropping? Only hanging out
Yeah,
with
exactly.
one crop
Yeah.
and then planting them
Yeah.
to the edge so there's no wild margin.
Exactly. So in some ways you could say that the weeds are like the mavericks in human society that you think they don't fit, but they have a role as well. And certainly in our organic garden, we do leave wild margins in the garden so that you don't eliminate the weeds. You just kind of ask them to sort of, take their own space and leave you to get on with growing your crops.
Ah, I love that. There is a space for all of us, and it's really important that we can each express who we are. The weeds need to express who they are, and they attract their own kinds of insects and wildlife, and we cut them out, and then we're really affecting the biodiversity. And I love that analogy to human community. I think it's so important that we just figure out a way for us all to be in the same general space together and recognize that at the right time and the right place, everyone's going to be able to share their gifts.